This is some MAGA messiness, and I am here for this. I do not recall this kind of craziness going on when Joe Biden was president, when Barack Obama was president, when Barack Obama was president again. I do not recall all of this mess going down. All right, so I have seen this going on Threads. It's going wild over on TikTok. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So over on Blue Sky, this woman named Gwen says, "Oh, I am not posting, folks. Stephen Miller, his wife, and Elon are widely rumored to be in a throuple. The word throuple is now going viral for a reason, is now trending for a reason. Now, Miller's wife is leaving the Trump team to be with Musk. And literally, per the New York Times, Stephen is angrily subtweeting Musk. They actually put it in the paper of record that he was mad. Okay, let's continue with some of these posts. Rumor mill. Elon Musk and Katie Miller banging, a thread. Meanwhile, CNN cited sources to report that top advisor and spokesperson for Doge, Katie Miller, has left her position and is now working with Musk. I wonder what kind of work it is. Is it like work, and then do a little body roll or something? Miller confirmed that he is focusing more on his companies. She quoted the Tesla CEO saying, "Doge is a way of life, like Buddhism." Okay, so this is the article from the Raw story. This man really does look like a Marvel villain. He looks like he is sitting up here plotting how he's going to take over the world, how he's going to destroy people and everything in his life and his political career has backed up his looks. All right, it says one of Trump's aides, who is the wife of Stephen Miller, is following Leon Scum out of the White House to work full-time for Leon. All right, she had been working as a special government employee since Trump returned to the White House, although she was also being paid earlier this year by the Republican consulting firm P2 Public Affairs to advise a range of the company's private clients, including Apple, before stepping away to focus on Doge. So I'm scrolling Threads. Threads is a great place to grab these articles. Rachel says, Katie Miller has really bad taste in men. And just look at this Marvel villain right here. And then we have another Marvel villain. And I wonder if they are doing some of the because okay, but I came across this person, Trip SJ. Trip says Katie Miller is just as bad as her husband. She's as bigoted and racist. She's a power-hungry snake and has been since her days at UF in Cypress Bay. I know. And in the comment section, he was saying that their parents, his parents and her parents, they move in the same circles. But he said, I would prefer to just drop articles on these people because he doesn't want to tell personal stuff. So this is one of the articles that he dropped from Vanity Fair. This was from August of 2020. It says, keeping up with the Millers, Stephen Miller and his wife Katie found love in a hateful place. It says Trump's favorite power couple after Jared and Ivanka and Don Jr. and Kimberly, that is, have carved out a special place in the administration for their rhetoric and ideology. This artwork is so very appropriate. Just take this in. It just grabs me. It grabs me. It really touches my spirit how much it captures them. All right, let's get some backstory on these people. It says it was a Sunday in mid-February at the Trump International Hotel. The whole gang was there. Mike Mulvaney, Reince Priebus, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Mike Pence, and yes, the big man himself. POTUS had flown in from Daytona Beach just in time for the party, hilariously complaining in his toast about having been inconvenienced by the groom, Stephen Miller. He's the only one that could have had a damn wedding in the middle of President's Day weekend. I'm sure it didn't affect anybody here. The rabbi was an advisor to the ambassador to Israel, and there was an Elvis impersonator. This may have not been every girl's dream wedding, but for the bride, Katie Waldman, it was perfect. Stephen, 34, and Katie, 28, had fallen in love as young people do while figuring out how to separate children from their parents at the border. Now, thanks to Katie, Stephen was officially off the market. It didn't throw her that half the country was blasting him as a white nationalist due to a recent cache of leaked emails or that one chunk of his family had disowned him. No, this was the perfect day, Katie tweeted, and Stephen Miller, the perfect man. Okay. To those in the public who didn't know much about the bride, the whole thing was amazing. Not only has Stephen found a human woman to marry, but Katie, as the picture showed, was pretty with a warm, vivacious smile. Stephen, by contrast, cut a villainous figure, cartoonishly like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, with a orb like forehead funneling into a long, pale face, mistrusting, soulless eyes, and a petulant lower lip. Rarely has a face been such an apt illustration of the person inside. I agree. The writer of this Vanity Fair article is kind of amazing. As the president's most determined, unwavering advisor on any single topic, he has crafted with considerable success the most punishing immigration policies in modern U.S. history, from the Muslim ban to the family separation policy, and every measure in between. He has been the draftsman behind Trump's darkest rhetoric. Unlike so many other White House officials who resigned or were pushed out, he has not only survived, he's thrived. Protecting America from immigrants has been his single passion. This is all I care about, he told colleagues last year. I don't have a family. I don't have anything else. This is my life. And now Stephen, who had gone without romance for most of his life, had found love. But to those who knew Waldman, the union wasn't surprising. As a college classmate from the University of Florida puts it, the only thing she loves or values in this world is power. Anyone she attaches to in her life is simply a pawn to feed her addiction to it. After all, even Goebbels was a ladies' man. Accounts from her high school and college years brings into focus a woman with charm and energy. She had YOLO tattooed inside her lower lip, but it was always trained toward power. These people recall how Waldman cut corners, employed dirty, even illegal tricks, and laughed as she got away with it. Accounts from more recent colleagues add detail to the portrait, one not of a counterbalance to Miller, but rather a powerful reinforcement. A Washington media flack who's rapidly ascended from Capitol Hill to the Department of Homeland Security to the Vice President's office. She can display a bright, even friendly manner, but behind the scenes, acquaintances say she can be ruthless and underhanded, and at times seemed callous about the suffering of others. Matches perfectly with Stephen Miller. In some ways, Mr. and Mrs. Miller are emblematic of young Washington, circa Trump. Arrogant and gleefully pugnacious. They have few close friends outside the administration. They don't hang out much in public because they tend to get harassed. They recently traded D.C. for the more secluded Arlington, Virginia. Outside of Jared and Ivanka and Don Jr. and Kimberly, they are perhaps the city's most powerful couple under 50. Their influence reaches beyond immigration policy into the two most pressing issues of the day: civil unrest around systemic racism and the pandemic. He plays a key role in Trump's messaging, decrying the removal of Confederate monuments and the threats to American heritage. She, as a spokesperson for the White House Coronavirus Task Force, is a poster child for its disastrously bungled response. The Millers' respective issues dovetail into a single phenomenon: harm to immigrant communities and people of color. And given the new couple's knack for pulling the levers of power and the Trump administration's control over the judicial and legislative branches, they may be with us for a long time to come. Yay. And now she's left the White House and she is going to hang out with elongated muskrat. So this post kind of covers some of the things that we have been talking about, but the language is funny, so I'm going to read this too. It says, so Leon officially Twitter quit Doge right as he's being accused of stealing data, while also raging about clowns BBB. Maybe that's bitter butch body. I don't know. Stephen Miller's wife, Katie, assigned to be Leon's handler in Doge, has Jerry Maguired off with Leon back to his smoldering businesses. Scuttlebutt in D.C. says Leon and the Millers were throupling, and now Stephen is left all by himself. Previous rumors say Caroline Leavitt, this is different. Caroline Leavitt was boinking Stephen Miller before Gates introduced her to her current dinosaur. Now that part I hadn't heard. Caroline Leavitt was boinking Stephen Miller. Y'all needed to know that? We all get to know that together. Let me know what you think of all this messiness.